Welcome to The Explainer. Let's jump right in, guys. Today we're unpacking a concept in Mahayana Buddhism that is honestly profound, fascinating, but so often misunderstood. I am talking about emptiness. I know, the word itself can sound a little intimidating, right? But today we're going to explore how this ancient philosophical idea actually connects directly to the highly active, uplifting concept of mass salvation.
Because look, it's a completely fair question. If everything in life is quote-unquote empty, does anything actually matter? When a lot of people hear the Buddhist concept of emptiness, their minds jump straight to a depressing, meaningless void. They picture this total nihilism, where human life just has zero purpose. But what if true emptiness is literally the exact opposite of that? What if it's actually the key to an incredibly dynamic, positive, and loving energy?
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting the three marks: time and space, wondrous existence, Mahayana salvation, and finally wrapping up with pure giving. To do this, our journey is grounded in a really fascinating source text, The Challenge of Enlightenment, Volume 2. Specifically, we're pulling from a deeply insightful lecture given back in July of 1992 that cuts right to the core of Mahayana Buddhism. It brilliantly breaks down the complex ideas of dependent origination and emptiness and really reveals the true intentions behind the Buddha's teachings. All right, Section 1. Emptiness and the three marks. So, to identify true Buddhist teachings, the text points us to something called the three marks of existence. You can kind of think of these as essential flags or checkpoints. If a teaching contains these three markers, it's the real deal. It's genuine Buddhism. And its ultimate goal is basically to help us cut off our worldly attachments so we can find true spiritual clarity.
First up, impermanence. This is simply the truth that everything in this world changes and eventually fades away. Second is non-self, which is the idea that everything is fundamentally empty of any permanent physical substance. And when you fully grasp those first two marks, that physical things are fleeting, they lack true substance, you can actually achieve the third mark, which is nirvana. By detaching your mind from all these fleeting physical things, you reach ultimate peace. It's really all about the power of letting go.
Moving on to Section 2, Time and Space Origination. The source text uses a pretty unique framework to explain dependent origination. We have time-based origination, which aligns perfectly with impermanence, the idea that over time everything changes and is a direct result of past causes. But then we also have space-based origination, which aligns with non-self, and this means that right now, in this exact present moment, you do not exist completely independently. You're being supported by the sun, the earth, the food you ate, the people who actually grew that food. There are literally countless invisible forces sustaining your life right now in this space.
The lecture illustrates physical emptiness so brilliantly. Take a physical desk, for example. We think of it as solid, right? But look closer, and while it's just wood, look closer still, it's molecules. Keep going down to atoms, and eventually there's no solid desk left at all. It's just energy. And the source text applies this exact same logic to the human body. Ultimately, we are just spiritual energy. That solid, permanent stuff we think we see, it's really just an illusion.
Okay, Section 3, Emptiness and Wondrous Existence. Now this is a massive turning point in this explainer. Remember that question we asked at the beginning about a depressing void? Well, that misconception is nihilism. It's a dark, empty, dead end. But Mahayana Buddhism argues that when you strip away all those physical illusions and attachments, you aren't just left with nothingness. No way. Instead, you uncover wondrous existence. It's this pure, dynamic, totally positive spiritual energy that was actually there all along.
I really want to highlight this incredible paradigm shift with a concept straight from the source. Emptiness is not nothing. It is the light of God, the energy of God. When you successfully detach from the physical world, you aren't left hollowed out. You're actually tapping into the foundational, vibrant spiritual energy that animates the entire universe. It's a state of immense joy and real connection.
Section 4, the Mahayana salvation. Realizing this wondrous energy creates a massive shift in how we live. We move from just sitting quietly and seeking our own individual peace, which, was the primary focus of some earlier traditions, to a highly dynamic outward movement. Because once you realize we are all deeply connected through this spiritual energy, it generates this immense desire to help others. It literally compels you to build a better world, a utopia, and to work toward mass salvation. Emptiness doesn't mean doing nothing. It becomes the fuel for active love and societal transformation.
Which brings us to Section 5, the spirit of pure giving.
So, if we're going to act with this profound love and give to others, how do we make sure we're actually doing it right?
Well, the Source introduces the concept of three-wheeled purity. This is the strict requirement that true giving, or true charity, must be entirely free of ego, free of expectation, and free of attachment. If it lacks this purity, it actually loses its spiritual value.
Let's break down how these three wheels have to be perfectly empty. Number 1, the giver must be empty of ego. There can't be any pride or self-congratulation when you give. Number 2, the receiver must be empty of greed. They can't just be taking to hoard wealth or feed their own desires. And number 3, the gift itself must be empty of attachment. Once it's given, it is gone. The giver cannot hold on to it mentally. All three elements of the transaction have to exist in a state of beautiful emptiness.
And this perfectly illustrates a trap that, honestly, we all fall into from time to time. True giving has absolutely no give and take. If you give someone a gift, or maybe you offer them spiritual guidance, and in the back of your mind you're thinking, well, they owe me now, or, man, I hope they praise me for this, then the giving is spiritually impure. The Source makes it crystal clear. Seeking a return on investment or desiring recognition completely destroys the spiritual nature of the act.
So, the crucial point here is constant, honest self-reflection. The Source gives us criteria for checking that we have the right heart when we're engaging in the salvation movement or any kind of charity. We have to always check for impure motives, like, are you doing this for applause? We have to eliminate self-display. Are you trying to look like some kind of savior? We must ensure our giving, whether we're handing out food, money, or teaching a spiritual truth, is done purely out of love. It has to flow directly from that wondrous empty energy we talked about earlier.
Which brings us to a final, necessary thought to leave you with. When you last gave a gift, were you, the receiver, and the gift completely free of expectation? It is a really high bar, isn't it? But understanding emptiness isn't just about cosmic energy or theoretical physics. It's about checking your own heart and intentions every single day. I really hope this explainer helped you see the profound, positive power of emptiness and how it actually leads to true salvation. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and keep exploring.